So we lost our producer. He has a job now, which is awesome. Good for him. But he
but at the same time
left us hanging. So I'm learning. Yesterday we tried to do a live podcast with a DJ friend of ours, and it was horrible. It didn't go as planned. It was horrible. So got some learning stuff to do for sure.
Right. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. You don't know how many times I've almost been scammed.
Oh my God.
By people.
Yeah.
It's been crazy.
It's so common too. Like it's ridiculously common. And I don't know if it's because like there's just this boom in like podcasters and stuff, but like there's people, we've been getting stuff from like people to help, like want them to promote them and people asking us to like be a part of it. And like, they just want money from us and stuff like that. So it's like, come on, man. Like I just want to do an honest living and I want to make people laugh. Like, is that too much to ask for?
It's not really that hard once you get it, but you feel so stupid once you figure it out.
Oh, absolutely. Like, you just yesterday I couldn't figure out how to get volume on, and it was just a button. Same thing today. Like, you couldn't hear me and I couldn't hear you. It was just a button that I had to press.
I didn't even know how to use Zoom. So, and I'm a college student, so that I'm like, how in the heck did I survive last semester and I couldn't even figure out how to?
Yeah. So like did you do it all over like the internet and stuff like that?
So what I ended up having to do, well, when I first started, I didn't really know anything about any of it because a lot of my friends don't even know that you can actually make your own podcast. I think people are under the impression that you have to know certain people in order to, get your stuff out there. And you kind of do, but the first site that I ever used for my stuff, I found out that he was scamming me.
Nice.
And I actually found out through my bank.
Nice.
And because I don't remember if you remember me messaging you and I was like, hey, do you know another site that I can get my stuff on?
Yeah.
So like basically he was trying to basically say that I didn't pay him. And I did. And mind you, the amount, it wasn't that much. But it was still the fact that you were trying to get money from me and my stuff wasn't getting out there.
Yeah.
So you're basically trying to get me to pay you double from what I actually owe you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And like there's a pretty good community of like podcasters and stuff that like from what I've seen, we've made a couple friends off of like the Facebook groups and stuff, and they've always been very helpful. Like me and my buddy who's usually here, he got stuck at work, so he's not here. But we're more like a do-it-yourself type people, and baptism by fire. So like we fail 100 times before we succeed, but that's just how we learn. So
right, it's been fun figuring once I actually figure it out. I'm like, holy shit, this is actually not that bad. But the process, especially trying to get your stuff out there, is actually. It can get pretty frustrating when you don't know what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely. And like the whole like marketing and like branding yourself, like I don't care about any of that type of stuff. I just, like I said, I just want to like make people laugh, and me and my friends just want to have conversations. But like my one friend, he runs Tribe Marketing. He's really big into everything like that. He's like, no, you guys are super good. You have to push it. And it's good to have friends like that. But at the same time, like, I don't want to do any of that.
Exactly. It's like, you don't really want to get famous off of it, but you want enough people to look at your stuff, but you're not trying to blow up just yet. For me, it's more of a hobby right now. So I'm just like, as long as one person listens to me, I'm good.
Yeah. That's how me and my buddy started it a year ago. We COVID started and we were like, we need an excuse to see our friends because there's nothing open and nobody wants to come over. So fuck it, let's start a podcast. Like, let's just have our friends come over and tell funny stories because we all think we're the funniest people in the world. So like, why not record them? And like our first 20 episodes were just ridiculous drunken rant type stuff, and then we started getting like guests on and we were like, oh, holy shit, like this is a real thing. Like it's forming itself, and it's been so much fun though. It and meeting new people, and like I would have never ran into you on the street, so like, it's cool. It's definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't use Facebook often, but it wasn't for Facebook, I probably wouldn't have the connections like I do now. So yay for Facebook for being good. But it's been a journey. But I think I kind of got the gist of it. I'm not a professional or anything like that, but I know how to save my audio. That was
Yeah, that's probably like one of the most important things you can know how to do too. So you're good.
yeah. So once I figured that out, I was like, okay, I got half the battle done. Actually, no, my first big, I guess, relief you could say was when I figured out how to get my stuff on Apple.
Oh yeah, that was a big thing for us too, because we thought we were a bit too much, and we thought like they weren't going to approve us, but they accepted us, and we were like, yes, this is awesome.
And then Apple wanted me to start charging people for it. I'm like, my stuff is not that good yet for me to start charging people. I'm like, I might get like 10 viewers a week, maybe. So no, just
and that's another thing on those Facebook groups too. I don't know if people are like lying or what, but there's I got
most of them are. I'm like, the only way that you can actually make money off it is if people like you.
Yeah, like they're claiming like, oh, we got 4,000 views on our second episode. And it's like, how much money are you guys putting into like backing this, like marketing and stuff? Because like our second episode had like 3 people, and one of them was my mom.
So what I noticed, they do give you like the statistics thing on the Apple app, and like if you're just starting out, chances are you're only going to get like 10 views, maybe.
Yeah,
just starting out. So I don't know if unless you got like a huge following on Instagram, maybe that's what it is. But for the average person, ain't no way in hell. I'm sorry, that's a lot of crap.
I don't like, that's right. Every time I see them, I'm like, there's no way. We just accumulated like 5,000 views, and we've been doing this for a year, and like we're excited about that, but like, yeah, like you said, like the whole monetizing it, like even a year in, we're not even thinking, like we sell shirts every now and then, but like it's like you said, it's a hobby. It's a lot of fun to us, so we don't it's not something we see making money off of, but would love to make money off of it.
Exactly. So if it gets to that point, it gets, but I'm at the point now where I'm just like, just roll with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you do a podcast. What is your podcast about?
So right now, I kind of want it to be like a talk show. I want it to be a place where people can feel comfortable coming on my show, venting about whatever they need to vent about. Because originally I was like, maybe I want to talk about politics. And then I was like, no, politics is boring after a while. And then maybe I want to talk about this. And then I kind of just said, I don't want it to be like about one specific, like limited to one specific thing. I want a little mixture of everything to keep people interested.
Yeah. So
basically right now I'm just promoting myself on a lot of different podcasts, have people coming to speak on mine, and then going from there.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, I think, too. And we dabbled in the whole politics thing for like a month.
I really tried, but after a while it still felt like I was repeating
it's that, and it's just so depressing. Like no matter what way you look at it, like none of them are good. So like we just, like it's just sad and it's depressing. So like there was a month span where me and my buddy Nick were just like angry at the world, and we were like, this is the worst ever. So let's just stray away from this. The way
I see it, both sides don't give a crap about you unless you got money. So don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So we we kind of got our footing. We like I said, we talk to mostly artists now, musicians. We talk to a lot of glass blowers now. So like that. Yeah. We just, my buddy Nick, who, like I said, he's usually here. He got stuck at work, but he just got into what?
I feel so sorry for him.
Yeah, he's a mechanic too, so like he hates his job.
I understand completely.
But he just got into glass blowing and stuff. So we've been making some friends in that whole scene and everything. And it's just so much nicer talking to artists who put beauty in the world rather than like screw people over. So you leave the podcast happier than like, oh damn, like I don't want to pay taxes. You're like, no, that guy blows really cool glass. Like I'm gonna go look at his stuff. So it's hard though, So how long have you been doing it?
Not that long at all. It literally started off as a joke, basically, because my boyfriend one day was like, all you do is work and come home. You need a hobby. And I was like, well, the only thing I like doing is listening to myself talk. So
I feel that. I get it. I talk all the time, and everyone's like, just start recording yourself.
Especially when I'm drunk. Like the funniest thing about me, for some reason, when I am drunk, that's when the best rants and stuff come out of my mouth. And I am never, obviously, I'm not going to remember it, but.
See, my thing when I don't drink that much anymore either, but like when I used to get drunk, I would get all like, I'm gonna save the world, we're gonna do great things, and like my buddy Nick was like, dude, like shut up, we're at a bar, like go pick up a chick, like they don't want to hear this, like nobody wants to hear like your plans to save global warming right now, like we're trying to avoid that type of stuff, we're at a bar.
Like I work in healthcare now, so I can't partake in that as much as I used to, but when I did, it was entertaining. I have some Snapchat memories saved, and I was like, wow.
Healthcare is such a weird career too, because there are no days off for you.
No, they aren't. I'm basically I get all my hours done in like 2 days, but I'm like on call during the week. So whenever anything happens, hey, we need you, boom. And then on top of that, I go to school too. So
yeah, you're a busy woman.
Yep.
That's good. Life. Are you more one of those types of people that like you feel stagnant, like you hate not doing something?
Yeah, exactly. It's like I know that I'm overworking myself, but at the same time, if I'm not doing anything, I just get really, really in a shitty mood. And I just, I mean?
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm the same way. Like I have vacation all next week and I'm off for a week and I have nothing to do.
And then you end up coming in because you're so bored out of your mind.
Yeah, like I'm so excited about it right now, but like Monday at like, no, I don't know, probably like 10 o'clock, I'm going to be like, this is not fun anymore. Like I should just go to work.
Exactly. Because it's like, I'm trying to enjoy this time off because I know once August comes, school starts, it's going to be a wrap from there. But at the same time, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. What do you
makes you realize how much of life you don't have, but
oh yeah, absolutely. What are you going to school for? More medical stuff? Nursing? Oh. Yeah, you say goodbye to your life.
I don't have one. So. I think this is the only social life that I have right now. And that's kind of sad, but
it's a very like honorable career path though, because you're sacrificing your life, not completely, but like you're sacrificing your time for other people. And I think that's awesome. I have a lot of family that are nurses. So
yeah,
they love it.
I love it too. Obviously, like any job, it has its moments, but it's something that I couldn't stay away from if I tried, and I tried.
Yeah, they have some really funny stories too. Like they always have because a lot of them work nights, and they're like,
God.
"Oh my god!"
The stories that I could tell, man. I was telling my boyfriend the other day, if HIPAA wasn't a thing, I could write a whole book on just one shift.
That's what I was going to ask too, because you can't really disclose any of that information because of all the HIPAA laws and everything.
I can talk about some things. I just can't tell you the name, what their gender is.
Yeah.
No, there's this one day, I was actually a EMT before I was a nurse. There's this one patient who decided to get really, really fucked up. And basically said, hey, fuck logic. I'm going to stick a beer can up my ass. And yeah.
All right, then. That's all right, then. I don't even have words for that.
I asked the patient, I was like, why? Because I was like, I know for me, when I was like that, I didn't want to do anything. How did you come to that conclusion? And then even then, how did you do it?
Yeah, usually when I got that drunk, it was more so like, hey, let's go break this. Not like, hey, I'm gonna shove a beer can up my ass. I feel like there was steps to that though. Like,
that's what I was saying. Obviously, he wasn't they were in too much pain to say anything. But in the back of my mind, I'm trying to keep a straight face. Like,
like what did you want to do before this? Because like, how did you get here? Because that's not like a conclusion you just jump to. I feel like
exactly. Like, are you okay, sir? Man, whatever you identify with, what is going on with your life? That is what you. I said I would never. Oh, and then I had a guy that he was also fucked up. Decided to make his own toothpaste and burn his mouth.
Oh. I've never heard any good story where they were like, oh man, like I make my own soap.
I asked him, and the thing was, he was like, oh, I didn't have enough money because I'm allergic to regular toothpaste, but it's just normal. People are allergic to some of the ingredients. But the thing was, the toothpaste that he actually needed cost less than the ingredients that he did to try to make his own toothpaste.
Why? Something I've learned at like my older age too is like sometimes it's just better to pay the plumber than fix the pipes yourself.
I was just like, I get what you were trying to do, but
yeah.
I got stories for days, and now I work in a nursing home. And there's one day I walked in, my patient got mad because she thought I was a flapper, and I was like, I didn't even know they had black flappers back then, but. What
is a flapper?
A flapper is basically what we call them strippers now.
Oh, okay.
But they were basically strippers before strippers became a thing.
So this woman thought you were a stripper coming into the nursing home?
She literally was like, why aren't you taking your clothes off? I paid good money for this. And I was like,
what? Okay.
And I basically had to pretend like we were going to a strip club and we were going out to get her to get dressed that day. And we literally kept up that story the rest of the day.
Oh, man.
I was like, and I felt sorry. And I felt bad because when her daughter came, she was asking me questions. I was like, just roll with it.
Just go with it. It's fine. She thinks this. Yeah. That's always a weird thing too, because my older people like with dementia and their memory starts going, like that's always a hard thing for me, because like that's what I've always said is my biggest fear in life is to lose my memories. Like, oh man.
Oh yeah. And then you start thinking, what if it was my mom? What if it was me? What would I do? Yada yada yada. And sometimes it has its ups and downs, but I actually like working with the elderly. It has its rewards.
Old people are the sweetest. Like there are
Sometimes.
A lot of, I was just about to say that there are some like really mean, and like in your case, I'm sure there's some really racist old white men. Like unfortunately,
I've always said, doesn't matter how bad a patient's submission been, if they were racist before, they are never going to forget that, and you're just going to have to deal with that as long as they're alive. But it's something that I grew up in the South, very conservative part of town. Used to it. I'm like, as long as you don't call me something completely off the wall, I really don't care. Yeah. But I have some that were like veterans in like World War II. And I'm like, I keep forgetting that y'all are that old, but
we live in a small town about an hour south of Chicago. And it's still prominently like white people. And I wasn't taught any better. So like racism was like this, like it was like socially acceptable here for a while. But then like you start venturing out and like you see this stuff and it's like, oh, these people are no different than me, and I just feel like a lot of people just aren't given that opportunity to grow up with people of color and different cultures and
it doesn't really help that the town that I live in is a really small, in the middle of the mountain.
So you deal with mountain men.
Right. So a lot of them, and it doesn't help that I don't look my age either. So they keep seeing me come in and they're like, there's no way you can be my nurse and that you can, I'm like, look.
I'm just here to help you, man. Save your life. That's it.
Literally. Honestly, I never had anybody get to the point where I couldn't handle it. But if it ever gets to that point, I'm just like, I don't get paid enough. So if you want to sit in your own filth, you can go ahead.
Yeah, that's on you. That's definitely on you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So, it's not for the weak.
Yeah, no, that's always been a pretty big topic in my friend group is just, like we try to put ourselves in other people's shoes, and like there's just some things you can't ever think of. Like I would never understand that type of hatred, and like that for no reason. It's weird. It's weird to think about.
And then a lot of the time it's not even me that they're mad at. I remind them of somebody. Yeah. So I kind of have to put that in perspective too.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, is they judge, like you have one bad memory with one person, and it's like you judge a whole, and that goes for anything, like cops. Exactly. Like you have a bad incident with cops and now all cops are bad, or like that's not how it works. Like there's good and bad people, every color, every race, every job. Like that's just how it works. Not everybody's a good person. I could never
get with the whole ACAB movement, because when I was in medic, we had to work directly with cops, so I was able to see firsthand sometimes what they go through. So I'm like, it's not, there's some bad ones out there, and maybe they need to change a couple of things, but you can't like put a stigma on, on everybody.
No, absolutely. At the end of the day, then you're doing no better than what you're trying to stop to begin with. Like
exactly.
You're judging an entire, at that point, like an entire career path off of, 4 or 5 bad guys.
Exactly.
You're adding to the problem. But a lot of people don't want to hear that. That's another reason we started the podcast too, because like you can't persuade someone's mind on Facebook. Like those comments, it just doesn't work. But you can
I started to do TikTok, and I was like, oh.
yeah. But you can sit here and have a conversation with someone and like see their perspective through their words. It's different doing this, and I very much enjoy it. And since you're beginning, I mean, we're still new too, but like it is really enjoyable, and it is super fulfilling. Mm-hmm. You make a lot of friends doing this too. So
yes.
You may not ever get to see them, and they might live across the country, but you have more friends. Mm-hmm. So where are you living now? You said you were in the mountains.
I don't know if you ever heard of it, Roanoke, Virginia.
Roanoke?
Uh-huh.
That's like the first colony in America, isn't it? Considered?
Basically, but when I bring it up, nobody ever really knows where it is unless you've been here, But surprisingly, yeah.
I don't know how I know that.
Because usually when people think of Virginia, they think of Richmond or the beach or somewhere like that. Because I'm actually from South Carolina.
Okay, I love the Carolinas so much.
I don't like it, but I grew up down there, needed to change the scenery.
Yeah.
And it's always interesting when I hear people up here say they go down there to vacation. And I'm always like, why? They're like, we're going to go to the beach. I'm like,
yeah. Why? That's the same thing when people say they're coming on vacation to Chicago. Like, are you serious? Why are you coming here?
I went to Chicago one time, and I said, but this was when I was younger, and we decided to go in the dead of winter.
Oh, why would you do that?
Because my mom made me.
Horrible idea. We just
finished. Was going to a work conference. She didn't have a babysitter. I ended up having to go. The only thing I can remember, the pizza was banging.
Oh, yeah.
But other than that, no. I fell in the snow, and then like the next day I was sick for the rest of the trip.
We just finished winter like last week here. Like it's so ridiculous. Why? Exactly.
I'm confused.
Chicago weather is so ridiculous. It's not even funny. Like it really. We didn't just finish winter, but it snows, and then it'll be 90 degrees the next day, and then there's tornadoes, and it's ridiculous. It's not that bad. I've been to all like the major cities in the U.S., and I definitely have to say Chicago's the most like organized one.
Mm-hmm. I believe it.
But like it's not where I would go on vacation.
And when I first saw snow up here, the first day I was like, yay, snow, run outside, take pictures and shit. And then like after the 4th month of it, I was like,
yeah, I can do without this stuff.
And then literally it was like from January all the way through April, it was snowing down here.
Yeah,
I was like, I can't deal with it. And now that it's 100 degrees outside, I can't deal with that either.
It's weird. Just like the last 2 weeks, it's done nothing but like rain, and then in between the raining, it's 110 degrees here.
And then we got a hurricane, apparently.
Yeah.
Elsa, I think that's what they named it. I thought they were joking. And then and then I looked outside and I was like, oh, okay. Interesting.
We have friends in Florida that like have hurricane parties that like
we used to do the same thing.
Wild people out there.
Our motto was, if it don't take the house down, you good.
Yeah.
We didn't get as bad as Florida back home, but it was still like, oh, hurricane? Okay. Just get your water, get your food. You good.
And then just wait it out.
Mm-hmm.
But have you noticed anything? Because I believe the story that I heard about Roanoke, like I said, I have no idea where I heard this from. Mm-hmm. My girlfriend constantly tells me I'm just full of useless knowledge that I'll never need.
Mm-hmm.
But Roanoke just was a colony that just one night mysteriously like disappeared, right?
Yes. Yes, that's actually a true story, because they a lot of people up here talk about it. And apparently the school that I'm going to, I'm not in the student housing, thank God, but one of the student housing places is rumored to be haunted because it was a part of those. It was supposed to be like where they did the slave trade and all that stuff. Mm. So they call it the haunted hotel. I think it's called the Patrick Henry.
Okay.
But I was like, but yeah. I've heard about it. I've heard several different stories about it. One, they said that like a general came and massacred everybody, mm-hmm. and it was just a ghost town ever since. So the rumors are true. I just don't know exactly which one is.
Yeah, I heard the general one, and I also heard like a sickness or something like ravaged everybody in the town, and then just nobody wanted to go back there because they didn't want to get sick. Mm-hmm. So those are the two that I heard. I wish I could remember where I heard them from.
Yeah, apparently and then I had to research it myself because I didn't know that there was actually a Roanoke, North Carolina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there's a Roanoke, Virginia, there's a Roanoke, North Carolina. So I had to make sure I was getting my story straight. But
you got to make sure with stuff like that.
Yeah, but apparently that is true. And I stay like, where I am is like a lot of historic looking stuff. Mm-hmm. And like, it's kind of a weird feeling because they don't sugarcoat shit about their history up here. There's a graveyard that they have, and it was specifically one that was built for like white people, and they had the one that was built for like the slaves and Black people that fought in the war and stuff. So it's actually kind of interesting to see because there's a lot of Roanoke that's modernized, mm-hmm. and then there's like the 2% that are like still hanging on to their old ways, and
yeah,
those are the parts of town I stay out of.
I'm gonna say this and then let me finish because it's gonna sound really wrong, but that's what I like about the South is it's the history in it, and there's like so much to see and like learn, and it's not a lot of that history is not good at all, but like it's crazy to see that like there's still there, like you said, though, there are still some people that like really hold on to that stuff.
Exactly.
I was, we were supposed to go to Tennessee next week is why I have vacation, but we're not going now. And I was so ecstatic to go like, oh my gosh, like, you know, the history out there and like, there's so much to do. My girlfriend was like, yeah, we're not doing any of that. Like, that sounds boring. Like, no, we definitely are. Like, I don't know. I find that stuff so interesting. Just like to think that wasn't
that long ago.
Yeah, it's crazy.
A lot of the stuff that happened was like 50 years ago, 60 years ago. I'm like, okay, when you think about it, had this not happened, I probably still would have been, not allowed to go to school and all that stuff.
Yeah, and that's one thing I use as like a perspective thing is like I always ask like, hey, like do you know like your dad was alive when black people couldn't drink out of the same water fountain as white people?
My mom,
Like, and
when she was in South Carolina, my mom's grandmother actually found it, because I don't know if you noticed that back in the day, Girl Scouts was actually segregated. So my grandmother actually founded the first Girl Scouts in the South. And I was
really?
forced to go to Girl Scout all the way up to high school because of that. Now that I look back, I'm grateful for it. But but yeah, she founded one of the first Girl Scout groups in South Carolina, and it's been popping off ever since.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, the reasoning why she did it sucks, but like that's a pretty cool piece of history to be, you know, your family's a part of.
Yep. Myrtle
Wow.
Beach, South Carolina.
Well, I've learned a couple things today. I now know what a flipper is.
I didn't know what a flapper was too. I had to look that up. And then when I did, I was like, "You sure you're talking about me?" Oh, okay. That doesn't sound like something I could take a part in back then, but go off, I guess.
Yeah, you know, and and now like seeing, it's weird to me too, because the thing I bring up a lot too is like, you know, it's 2021. Like, why is this still a thing? You know, but like the past generations are still, hate breeds hate, you know. So like if you have parents or grandparents like that, it sucks because that's what's being imprinted in their minds. But just locally and like in Chicago, I see a lot of stuff changing. It's looking like it's getting better. It just sucks now, and I think it's really blown out of proportion because of social media.
Right.
So like I definitely don't think it's as bad seeing it firsthand in Chicago as everybody makes it out to be. Like there are a lot of shootings and there's a lot of stuff going on, but like it's not that bad around here. Like it's not horrible.
I never understood why people demonize Chicago so much. They're shooting everywhere. There's shootings here, not just Chicago. Chicago just happens to be a bigger city.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is because we have really strict gun laws too. So like people are still getting shot. How are they getting guns? And yeah, it's all like that political thing that people get into. And I don't know. Just do what you want to do. Just don't hurt other people.
Right. Yeah. The gun laws issue, I could go on forever about that, but
yeah, see, again, that's another one that's kind of, I live in a small country town, and I'm all of my friends and family own guns, and I get it. I mean, I understand why you want one, you know, and I understand, you know, the need for one. But like, I don't know. Again, it's a broken system. I think a lot needs to be changed about it.
Exactly. Just the other day, we had our fair came down. 16-year-old ran through the fair with a gun, and they were chasing him for like 30 minutes.
What?
I shit you not, 16. And apparently it was like a gang initiation type thing. I was just like, how did he... First of all, you chased them for 30 minutes. How you let a 16-year-old outrun you? But
well, that's a big thing too. Like cops have to like pass like tests, don't they? Like physical tests?
Yeah, it is. They have to pass a physical test in order to even get accepted into it. So I'm just wondering
how yeah.
Unless you've been in it so long that you let yourself go, maybe, but I don't know. I was just amazed that the foot chase went on for that long.
Yeah, 30 minutes is a long time for a foot chase. I'm done after 30 seconds.
I don't do it. And if I do it, something chasing me, and you better run too. Nope. Exercise? Nope. I mean, I exercise, but
you know, and that's something too. At a younger age, we used to race all the time. Oh, I'm faster than you. Now at my like you said, I'm old now. Like I'm not running unless I have to run.
Exactly. Like when I was younger, I used to stay out in the country back home when I was younger, and we didn't used to play outside because my mama, she would never, like, we were either in the house or out of the house.
Yep.
That was it. You came home when the light started going off.
Yep.
Now looking back, I'm like, how the hell? Like we were climbing trees and stuff. And then like when we were 8 years old, we had like four-wheelers that were in the back, and we would race up and down the dirt road. I was like, how did we not die?
Yeah. And it's so weird to like look back at that kind of stuff too, because like we were in that I mean, I don't know how old you are. I'm 28.
I'm 27. You're literally only a year young.
So we lived in that pinnacle age of like technology taking over and all that stuff. And it makes me feel...
still remember when Google was a
thing. I remember on the news, I remember them showing like, oh, the first video on YouTube hit 1 million views. Like I remember that. And I
remember when me and my mom used to go on road trips. She used to make me print out the map.
Yes.
Off of Yahoo. Yes. And then I had to figure out.
Absolutely.
She had this old Nokia, and she still has that freaking Nokia to this day. So
the brick, right?
Yes, the brick. The blue brick. She used to have that shit. And she used to make me go to our old computer. It was like the first computer that they made that was like wireless. It was a beige brick piece of shit. And she used to make me sit there, and then I used to have to turn the Wi-Fi on, and we used to it. And then if I got us lost, I was in trouble. Yeah. But I learned how to read a map because of that, though.
Yep, I remember all that stuff too. I remember going on family vacations with my mom, going to St. Louis with a piece of paper, and that was it. Mm-hmm. There was no navigation system. Like you got lost and you had to ask for directions.
She still doesn't use Google to this day.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
She still doesn't. She still uses the map.
That's crazy. I don't think I could do that anymore.
Mm-mm. She's like almost in her 70s now, and there's still some stuff that she refuses.
Stuck in her ways.
Mm-hmm. But I remember the only reason why she got a new phone was because her job made her upgrade. Because they were switching from paper, like she was a social worker, so she used to come home every day with like files on top of files of stuff. And then they made her learn how to use the computer, and that's the only reason why we got a computer. And this happened when I was like 6, I think. Yeah, so it hasn't been that long.
So yeah, like, and that it's just crazy to see, like, not like our kids nowadays, like that's not a
4-year-olds know how to use technology better than me, and I feel some type of way about that.
Yeah. My buddy was just telling me the other day, he was like, dude, like, our kids are going to be showing us how to do things here pretty soon, because like I there's some things on my phone I still don't understand, and it's like, you know what, like, oh God.
I was already having a conversation with my boyfriend. I was like, so are we going to be the parents where if our kids already having a cell phone? What's the stance on that? It was like, of all things, that's what you're worried about? Yes.
It's such a weird, such a weird topic to begin with too, because like, phones are here to stay, and like that's the future, and laptops and technology and the internet. So like you want them to like know how to use it.
And so it's like when we were growing up, things were just as bad, but we were basically conditioned to use to have common sense when it came to certain stuff. So we really didn't need a phone. Like I don't know about your mom, but my mom, she made sure that I had certain numbers memorized, that I had my address memorized. That way, if she ever stayed later at work, I could call her. You know, I really didn't need a phone. But nowadays, people are so people-y. I don't know.
Yeah, well, and when I grew up too, like we had, I lived in, maybe it was like 2,000 people back then. I think there's like 4,000 people that live here now. Mm-hmm. So like all the parents knew all the kids, and all the kids knew all the parents. So like we knew, like, a parent knew where we were at all times. Like it wasn't like, you know, we were out gang banging or anything, you know what I mean? Like we were in town and at someone's house or at the park, and everybody knew where everybody was, which I don't know. I enjoyed living and growing up in that type of atmosphere. Mm-hmm. And then now I couldn't even tell you my neighbor's name. Like nobody's like really a people person anymore. Like people are afraid to knock on people's doors and just say, hey, how you doing? Like I go outside and my neighbor looks at me and that's it. Like they run away because they don't even want to talk.
Yeah, right now I live in an apartment complex, but there's only like 3 of us living in here. So I got lucky in that perspective, but I already said once school's over and I can actually afford to get my own place, I want my own land.
Yep.
Pop a trailer on that. Leave me alone.
Absolutely.
I don't mind neighbors, but
and growing up and having room, like my buddy that does this with me, he lives out on 10 acres of land, and his house is covered by like a tree farm, so you can't even see his house. Mm-hmm. So like that privacy and just being able to do whatever you want to do and no neighbors.
Exactly.
It's so amazing.
Exactly. That's what I want. I want it to be enough to where I have my own privacy, but I also want to not be too far from where I need to get.
Yeah. Like where we are, we're 30 minutes from literally anything and everything we want. There's 7 towns around us that have Walmarts and all this stuff. I mean, 30 minutes it kind of sucks, but at the same time, like you go from country living to city. So it's a nice trade-off. I wouldn't mind staying where I'm at, but I do want to travel. I think there's a lot of places in the world that are beautiful that I would love to see. Right.
I feel the same way. I don't see myself staying in Roanoke for a long period of time just because of how small it is. Mm-hmm. But it serves its purpose for right now. So
have you ever gotten any like supernatural stuff happen to you there? Or?
I've had supernatural stuff kind of happen to me all my life, but up here, no, maybe at my job, but because like usually when somebody dies, that type of situation. But other than that, not really. But then again, I mind my business the majority of the time. So if it happened, I probably
wasn't even paying attention.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't, especially when I'm in public, like I'm so in my own little world and stuff. Like I always have a million things going on in my mind.
Funny story. When I first moved up here 2 years ago, I had to, they wouldn't let me move in for 2 weeks. Found out that the house next door was a freaking brothel, bro.
Nice.
A brothel.
Nice. Like recently?
Recently.
Oh.
Shit from India. Freshly.
Wow.
And the FBI raided the house.
Wow.
Yeah. A lawyer owns it now, but when the police let me go and let me see what it was like, because I was like, I just want to see what it was like. Because I'm like, when you think of brothel, you think like of 1800s. I'm like, we got OnlyFans now. Why are you still?
Yeah.
But when I tell you that was the freakiest shit I ever seen.
Yeah.
Because what it was like a massage parlor in the front of the house, and they disguised it as like a regular business, and they go in the back and they go down, and that's where they kept all the girls.
Oh, was it like a I guess like a classy brothel or like a cagey brothel?
It was a middle class looking, like not too ghetto, but not too obvious either.
Yeah.
Like they had all the classy shit in the front, so you wouldn't even think to go down in the basement or anything like that. And it's now a lawyer's office, but it's funny because I still have to be careful because I still see like men, and it's always older men going up there.
Yeah, it's still a brothel. It's definitely still a brothel.
Like, I wouldn't be freaking surprised, but I was like, I didn't even think that was a thing. But apparently they knew about it. The police department actually knew about it for a long time. They just finally
a town by us. The chief of police actually did, like, I guess you would call it a brothel, but he did it like out of the like local hotel, like, and he orchestrated it and like organized it and everything.
The story that I was told, they kept sending the same two officers out there because my neighbor was like, yeah, she was like a girl that looked underage going in the basement. So she called the police, and she was like, it would be the same people, the same two officers going in and out every time she called them. So what we think is that they were probably
a part of it
and on it. But apparently the owner's wife, apparently think he drew the line with her and she ratted him out.
That's unfortunate.
I was like, what? I was like, unless she didn't know about it and then she found out about it. But I was like,
yeah, see, that's always a hard thing. Like, how much does your spouse know? Like, I don't know if you know anything about like the Bill Cosby stuff and how he's out now.
oh my God, that made me cringe.
Yeah, it's so weird because like his wife defended him through everything. And it's like, ma'am, there's like,
Because he's basically only out because of a technicality.
yeah.
And because of the other woman that basically backtracked their story. If it wasn't for that, he wouldn't be out. I loved him in the Cosby Show and all that shit, but that does not excuse him for doing creepy shit. I'm sorry. If he did that, he needs to serve time just like everybody else.
Yeah, and
that's
like,
how I feel about it.
They supposedly it's been like a known thing in like the industry. So like it's been known for 15, 20 years. Everybody's like, oh, Bill Cosby does this weird stuff.
It's not just Bill Cosby.
Oh, 100%. I say that all the time.
My unpopular opinion, John Legend and Chrissy Teigen, they probably doing some fucked up shit too.
Some weird shit.
Because there ain't no way. I love John Legend as a singer, but his wife, there's always so much stuff going on about her every other month.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. I get kind of criticized for it, like even in my friend group. But I always I have this weird if you knew you could get away with something, like say you knew 100% that you could get away with robbing a bank, 9 out of 10 people are going to rob that bank. So like all these rich and famous people that have lawyers to back them and can find all these loopholes and and they believe they can get away with it. Like, I'm not saying every famous person and rich person does weird sadistic shit, but I do think it's a lot more common than people think it is. Like a lot more common.
And it should have been, I have an unpopular opinion about the OJ Simpson situation too, but
I would love to hear it. If you want to say it online, if not, it's completely okay.
I think there may be a slight chance that he was a part of the problem, but he didn't actually do it. I think he's covering for somebody.
That wouldn't surprise me at all either.
Because think about it. If you are your son, your father, are you going to let your own flesh and blood go to jail?
Yeah, no, 100%. I would go to son for my.
So I think maybe he didn't. Maybe he knew what happened, but I think there might be a slim chance that he wasn't actually the one that committed the act. I think his son did it, and he took the blame for his son. But that's just because I'm like, the story switches up every time. Yeah, well, and somebody says it.
That's the whole problem with that case, and just cases of that magnitude. Period, is it's something weird always happens, and then there's always like this media agenda, and
exactly, and then the fact that he was somehow connected to the Kardashians and all that shit. So I still think he's a creep, but.
Yeah,
I think there's way more to the situation than they're letting on. I don't think it's just him that needs to be, that needs to be locked up.
No, 100%. It's just like, any famous person that gets away with stuff like that, like there's other people that know about it. Like, there's no way. There's no fucking way. Like R. Kelly actually has a house like 20 minutes. Well, he used to have a house. He doesn't have a house there anymore. Got foreclosed on because he can't afford it.
Good.
But yeah, and like I've been by that house. I've had to work. I was supposed to work at the house, but like they gated, like it's gated, and they don't let you in there at all.
Is it like a mansion or is it?
It's a mansion, like a very secluded.
I'm actually surprised it hasn't been vandalized yet. Good for society.
Yeah, and just that whole thing was super weird to me too. With his whole trial, like the amount of people that like knew about it, but like. He's making those people money, so they don't want to come forward and say stuff. And I don't know, the music industry has always kind of baffled me with stuff like that. And I don't know, it's creepy, it's weird, and it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, makes me glad I never became an actress.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell my girlfriend all the time too. Like, I couldn't even imagine what it's like being like a pretty girl growing up in like society because of all this stuff. Like, we can't even go in a room without guys staring at her, you know, like, and it makes me uncomfortable. I can only imagine how uncomfortable it makes her.
Yeah, I went through a phase like whenever we went out anywhere, I would make sure I would dress ugly. But even when I dressed ugly, I still attracted, you know.
Yeah, it's
So it
weird.
really doesn't matter how you dress. If they
now
want it, you know.
nowadays guys don't have boundaries. They don't respect stuff. Like, there'll be guys that'll hit up my girlfriend in her DMs and just say the most outrageous stuff. And like, it clear as day said it's like she's in a relationship. Like, dude, there's 8 billion people in the world. Like, go away, you know. And I don't know. Guys are weird today, and I don't know if it's confidence or what. I wish I had that kind of confidence because I never in my life have I ever been like,
I guess I got kind of lucky because my boyfriend looks older than he is. He lost his hair at a younger age, so I guess they don't want those problems. So I got lucky. But
yeah, see, I'm a skinny, pretty boy, so everybody's like, oh, you know, he's nothing.
oh my god! But yeah, it's
I can only imagine you have a lot to deal with on your plate.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you're doing it. You're going to be a nurse.
I actually got to take an exam on Sunday. So.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
Well, it determines if I get this raise. So hopefully.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'm not nervous about the exam. I'm just ready to get it over with. Tests in general, just not my favorite.
See, I was the opposite, even in school. Like, I didn't do well in school, period, because I can't sit down. I'm more of like a hands-on type person, but like I test perfectly fine. But you send me something to like do homework. No, I'm not doing it. It's not my thing.
No, I didn't realize until later how fucked up South Carolina school system was, because there used to be a teacher in high school, never did any homework in her class. She used to just pass us for showing up. And then when I moved up here and I started school, I realized I didn't know shit. So
yeah, I went to private school until 7th grade, and then went to public school my 8th grade year. And in public school, they were teaching me stuff that I learned in 5th and 6th grade. Like, what are we doing here? Like, why this is 3 grades behind. Like, it's crazy to me, like how it's public school. Just, yeah, you can. These kids are they pick up on a lot of stuff, you know, especially if they want to learn. Like, you can teach these kids at a faster pace.
And I was in the advanced classes. I was in AP.
Yeah.
So that's saying a lot.
Yeah, that's crazy. Schooling's weird. I feel like, and that's teachers, and I think they should be getting paid more and all that kind of stuff.
Because I think the problem is the stigma down there is like, okay, you're either going to do sports or you're going to go be a doctor or some shit like that. And I'm like, what about the people that don't want to go into the medical field? Because there's not that many opportunities for artists and stuff down there. So
yeah,
I feel like people get discouraged in a way because it's like it's either sports or the medical field, no in between. So if you got a person that not athletic, doesn't do good in school, okay, you know, they think it's the end of the world down there.
I think that's just a common problem almost everywhere too, because there was really nothing like it. I didn't want to go to school, so I'm not going to go get a college degree, and everybody like shunned me. Like, no, I'm not going to go spend money on something I know I'm not going to have. I'm not going to take anything from it. Like, I'd rather just get experience, show me how to do a trade or show me how to do this, you know, and there's just no options available for that kind of stuff, which sucks. But
like, I think my problem was I kind of was forced into going to school straight out of high school, and I went to HBCU. Nothing against HBCUs, they're great, but it's kind of hard to fit into if you don't know anybody. So I was just like, I left after like the second semester. But I feel like if I actually knew about like the different ways of getting into like careers and stuff beforehand, I probably would have done a whole lot better. But I honestly would tell anybody at that age, do not go to college straight out of high school if you're not ready for it.
Yeah, and that's a lot of my friends. A lot of them went to college, and unfortunately, a lot of them are like, "Yeah, that was a huge mistake. Like, it wasn't fun. I'm in so much debt, and I'm not even in the career path that I'm going to." And like I said, like you just said, I'm not talking bad in college. Like, if you want to go. But like I just feel like 18 years old, you don't know what you want to do.
You're being told what you want to do.
Yeah,
but you don't necessarily know if you want to do it.
Yeah, you have no idea, and you're gonna make this huge commitment and like take out all these loans. You have to pay back.
Because in Colombia, I don't know if you know anything about it. You had two colleges that you can either go to. You could go to Clemson, or you can go to USC.
Okay.
Or you can go to a random HBCU, like I did, and it was like out in the country, in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, so you really didn't have that many options. Again, nothing against either school, but it wasn't a lot of options, and I think that's where a lot of people fell short. But
yeah, I get general education. I think it's important. Everybody should know how to count. Everybody should know how to read. I that's important stuff. But I feel like there's a lot of stuff they don't teach in high school that's important, like credit or like financing and taxes and.
But I know the quadruple. No, I don't. I
can't even say it.
No. Hypotenuse. There you go.
Yeah,
I wasn't even the word, but
I've never used anything I learned in geometry. Like never once. Like I get it. There's some paths that you may need that, but
I know To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yes, that's a phenomenal book too, by the way.
Oh my god.
That was
loved it.
That was see, and that's why I wish I had good teachers in English, and I
did not. My English teacher was so cringy that it's one movie where it was like this white lady, she decided she was going to teach at an urban school because none of the other schools would accept her. And then she had the students write in a journal.
Oh, what the fuck? I know that movie too.
And it was like one girl, she got pregnant. Yep. She was pregnant and she was hiding her pregnancy. And it was the guy, he was like, I want to be a gang member, but I don't really want to be a gang member. And then she had all of them write in a freaking journal. And then for some reason, she made them go to a Holocaust museum. What was that movie?
Yeah, no, I had really good English teachers. I
forgot what that movie was called.
Phenomenal. But I know what you're talking about too, and I can see the actress's name, like face too. I do not remember. I want to say it was called Substitute Teacher, but that's not what it was.
No, but it should have been.
But yeah, no, like To Kill a Mockingbird. What's
another one? A Secret Garden.
18. I don't even remember. George Orwell. We read a bunch of those books. The Fly book.
Great Gatsby.
Great Gatsby was another good book too. To Kill a Mockingbird. And
then when the movie came out, she made us see the movie.
Catcher in the Rye was another book we had to read. But they made it.
Fahrenheit 420, 451. What was it?
Oh,
where they burned all the books and stuff.
Yes. Oh, I can't remember the name of that book. That's a good book though too. Fahrenheit
something. I don't.
They made it really interesting, and I always knew I wanted to do something in writing, or I enjoy making people laugh and talking, So I wish there were more paths given to me, because I mean, shit, if I was given a path to become a comedian at the age of 18, like I would have taken it 100%, but, or, something like that. Around here, there's no such thing as acting around here. Like you go work on a farm, so, but whatever, I'm 28 now, so I'm building my own path. I'm never too old. So
I feel old. I'm not. Yeah. Oh my God. In 2 years, I'm going to be 30. I don't like that.
Yeah. I get reminded that a lot.
That means in 10 years, I'll be 40.
That's 10 years from now, though. The world might not even be around in 10 years.
Man, at this point, the world was supposed to end so many times.
Yeah.
I survived 5 world endings. First it was 2012, and then
there's been quite a few. And
1999.
Yeah, we made it through. Yeah. What was that called? The I forgot what they called that. Oh, what did they call it? I don't remember, but yeah, the 2000 switching, then
Mhm.
2012, and we're still here. We made it.
I'm like, at this point, if it happens, it needs to. America
Yeah.
just needs to go to timeout, think about what it did, and then
Yeah, we just need a reset, I think. Just
I'm not even worried about the end of the world anymore. Just if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. Come on.
yeah. I agree
Although
with
the
that.
movie Left Behind traumatized me as a kid.
I've
I
never
don't know
seen
if you
it
ever
before.
heard about.
Mm-mm.
And you know who Kirk Cameron is?
Yeah.
He stars in it, and my mom had me watch it because I was a little hoodlum when I was younger. So, so she made me watch it, and it's basically about the Book of Revelation.
Okay.
And yeah, I should not have watched that movie as a kid, but I did not want to go to church for the longest just because I was so freaked out. Like every time they prayed, I was like, "Oh my God, this is it."
Yeah.
You know, we gonna.
Yeah. I'm all for, like, I'm not super big into religion. I'm all for it, but that kind of stuff, like, really, like, I don't want to talk about that kind of stuff. Please don't include me in that kind of stuff. It's weird.
Like my mom was a minister. I had no choice, and she was a Southern Baptist minister, so I had the worst of both worlds. So.
Yeah, Baptist it's a very strong religion too.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't until I moved out when I was like, okay, some of this stuff I can kind of make my own judgments on, and I've been doing that. So
I think religion's great. I think it's a good moral compass, and it teaches you right from wrong. But
yes,
some stuff,
but the problem is when people turn it into a cult.
Yeah, and they make it extremist, and they make rules like you can't dance at weddings or stuff like that. Like, why can I not dance at weddings? Like,
exactly, like you can't wear a skirt above the knee. You know.
Yeah, and that's another discussion I always have with people too, like that say like, oh, religion, is never persecuted, blah blah blah. It's like, no, the revised versions that we follow today didn't persecute people. Like, if we followed the religion back to like the books when it was dated, there would still be slavery. That, like, women still wouldn't have rights. Like, that's a real thing. We revised it, like, and took that stuff out because it's no longer acceptable.
Like, a lot of people don't really get, like, when you think about a lot of Christianity was, I'm not going to say what I want to say, but it was inspired by other religions. Christianity
is horrible. I'll say it for you. It's horrible.
Okay, good. So we're on the same page. Great.
Look, I don't believe
because when you really think about it, because I was talking to one of my friends, she's Jewish, and I was like, okay, I've always been curious about this. Why don't Jews celebrate Christmas? And when she told me the history behind it, I was like, oh.
Yeah, I don't believe,
I get it now.
it's very hard for me to take a religion serious when you're telling me the savior of the religion is white, but grew up in the Middle East.
Thank you.
What are you talking? How's that even possible? Like, what's going on here? And like, I try to explain that to people too. Like, the reason Christianity and stuff like that's so big is because like rulers killed in the name of their God and took over all these places, and we forced our religion on people.
Like, the way I see it, you literally were trying to force a group of people not to celebrate their religion, and then you took their religion when it was beneficial to you, and then you tweaked it in your own words, and you're trying to force them to celebrate that. It's kind of.
And if they didn't follow it, they killed them.
Because I've always said, had colonization not been a thing, Christianity wouldn't even be the major religion.
No,
I seriously doubt it.
No,
because I'm like, it doesn't make any sense logically.
No, and that's what I try to tell people too. Like, most religions, I mean, they all have the same basic like starting point, and then they all just kind of branch off. They all have the same basis. It's just different ways of getting to there. Like, it's pretty much all the same thing. Like, it doesn't matter what you are, just don't be Christian, because those people are horrible.
I always say there is no hate greater than Christian love.
Oh, absolutely.
And I stand by that.
Yeah, that's a really powerful statement, because it's very true, and it's really sad because I was having again on Facebook a discussion with a kid and something about being gay came up, and like I kind of took it offensive because I have a lot of friends that are gay and family that's gay, and they were like, well, we're praying for them to hope they get better. What do you mean get better? Like there's nothing wrong with them.
And my whole thing about that is people pick and choose what parts of the Bible follow all the time. I'm like, okay, you're saying homosexuality is a sin. That's fine. But what about judging people? What about stealing? What about pedophilia? What about, there's a whole list of stuff that I could say that people do all the time. They pick and choose. And it's not, and personally, I think it's fucked up when you think about it, because I'm like, you are basically taking a book that's pretty much calling you out and you're twisting it into your own words to put another person down.
Yeah, to make it.
And at the end of it, you're like, and this is why you should be. No, that's not how it works. Because I don't know if you're aware of the whole Lil Nas situation when he.
Oh yeah, with the music.
I was
video.
Like, why are y'all so upset about what another man chooses to do with his body? First of all,
look, I'm really big into music and I love music. I think Lil Nas X is a great musician, and I think he has a very, very particular artistic taste. And I thought the music video was really good. The song was all right. I didn't really care.
I didn't necessarily like the song. I liked it because I knew the music video was going to get people mad.
Oh, absolutely. And like the thing that people don't understand is like, I don't think people really ever listen to the lyrics of music like back in the 70s and 80s. Like that's some creepy shit. That's some creepy shit that they used to sing about.
And the crazy part about the whole Little Nas situation, he wasn't even making fun of God like they're trying to say. If you actually look at the video, he's making fun of Satan.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why are y'all mad? He's literally giving Satan a lap dance. Why? I thought we hated Satan.
And as much as I hate to say it, it's because people gave it that much hate and stuff because he was black and he was gay, like a white man who was straight could get away with doing shit like that, unfortunately. And it's sad. I don't think it would have gotten as much hate for it
no, it wouldn't.
And it's just a sad reality that I think really needs to be changed.
Yeah, the stigma is like they expect Black people to be a certain way, especially Black women, more so than Black men. Like they have like such a specific code for us in the entertainment industry, hell, in the world in general, that is like we do one thing wrong and all of a sudden, perfect example, the fucking Olympics, Sha'Carri smoking marijuana. Do I think she should have gotten disqualified for that? No, but at the same time, she probably shouldn't have smoked right before she went on the race. But my whole issue is with it is the last Olympics, they let Michael Phelps swim and he had steroids in his system.
That's what I was about to say. I was going to say, didn't Michael Phelps have something in his system?
Exactly.
Well?
That's where I have the issue with it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's literally, and then like, I don't know if you heard, there was a thing where they said that Black women couldn't wear their hair in afros while they were swimming because they couldn't wear the.
Oh, stop it. That's ridiculous.
I shit you not. They couldn't wear the hair caps that we usually wear because they thought that would give us an advantage. I'm like, no, if you know how hair works, that's
no, that's
not how hair works. But
the Michael Phelps thing too, like he had a performance enhancing drug in his system.
Exactly. I am impressed that she was able to run that fast after smoking a blunt. Do you know how fucked up I am after I smoke a blunt?
Oh my God.
She ran a whole as fast as she did.
And
I am impressed.
She broke a record, didn't she?
While she was high.
Yeah, no.
While she was high. That is impressive to me. I don't care.
I mean, you just can't take that away from someone at the end of the day. Like last time I smoked pot years ago, I was stuck on a couch for 4.5 hours. So the fact that
I can't do it anymore because my job loves to do random drug tests. But when I am skinny equals lightweight, I was like, props to her because I don't understand how she was even awake on time.
Yep. It's not for me. It was never my thing of choice either. I got friends, and it's legal in Illinois now. So like I got friends that are smoking all the time, and it's just like, I don't know how you people function.
And I think that's where a lot of people got pissed off because they they're like, well, it's legal in certain parts of the United States. I'm like, it might be legal in her state, but it may not be legal in
Federally.
Tokyo. Yeah, exactly. So I'm like,
That's-
you can't really, yeah, it's fucked up, but you can't really be too mad at it. But at the same time, it's kind of fucked up that they weren't able to bend the rules a little bit for her like they did with.
That's the problem the country will face until it's federally legal, period, with jobs not allowing it and stuff like that, because it's not
I don't think the
federally
US,
legal.
I hate to say it, I hope I don't sound anti-American or whatever. I don't think the US is going to win, except for maybe gymnastics. They still got Simone Biles, but they were trying to disqualify her too.
Yeah, I haven't watched any Olympic sports in a while. I've watched boxing, but I couldn't even tell you one of the Olympians in it. Like, we watch UFC and stuff like that, but I couldn't tell you any of the
I watch it for
contenders.
gymnastics and gymnastics only. And if they do something to Simone Biles, I will not be watching the Olympics this year.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised that they're having it in China.
They're having it in Japan.
Yeah,
And Japan just
You're right,
closed
it's
down
not-
because of the new apparently there's a new strand of the virus over there. So they just shut Japan down.
I don't know why
So-
I thought it was in Beijing. It's in Tokyo, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was in Beijing like a decade ago or something when I was younger. Yeah, it's
I
in
think
Japan.
so, but I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. Honestly, I think they just need to shut the whole thing down and try again next year because
Yeah,
I don't think I'm going to watch it. It's been way too much.
it's a lot of drama.
Way too much drama. I'm like, it's sports. What's the big deal? I mean, I understand some of y'all are getting paid, but
From what I'm told, is the people who can like compete, they don't make that much money. Like, it's mostly
Really?
it's the sponsors and stuff that make a large amount of money. The competitors don't actually make that much money. It's more of like it's more of like an honor, like, oh, I won gold medal, and like you get stuff when you come back, you get sponsors and stuff like that because you're an Olympic gold medalist. But as far as I know, they don't get paid that much money.
So you're putting yourself through all that trauma for nothing.
Yep. And it's years of training and stuff. I know a lot of the guys that do the wrestling stuff, like they train their whole life, and it's not cheap. Like, to have that type of physique and stay on top like that, like it's not cheap.
No, I used to do dance, and my mom used to have to spend like $1,000 just on the costume alone. So I can. Oh, Jesus Christ. I was thinking they were millionaires or something, but
Yeah, I know they have like a lot of backing and stuff from like private companies and stuff like that. Like, I know Russia does their teams. Like, that's who they sponsor all of them and all that stuff. The United States isn't like that. We have like private companies like pay into the camps and stuff for the Olympians, which is weird. I don't know why.
but they probably don't get paid shit.
Yeah, it's not much at all. Oh, well, but we've been going for quite a while. This was actually like a phenomenal conversation.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. It's almost 2 hours already.
Yeah.
I told you I like hearing myself talk.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. And especially when you have a good conversation, I'm more inclined. I'm just really hungry. I'm not going to lie to you. I could keep going, but I'm just really hungry.
It was good talking to you.
Oh, absolutely. Well, next time, hopefully, my co-host will be here, and maybe we can jump on yours and we can do the same thing. Whatever. We'd be more than happy to.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, and if you ever have any more questions or anything, I might not be able to help you, but I'm a little bit into the game, podcasting, so I might be able to help you. I might not be able to.
All right.
All right. Well, it was nice to meet you. You have a great rest of your night.
You too, honey. Thank you.
Try not to get scared by any ghosts or anything out there.
That's on my bucket list. All right, bye.
Bye.